Hello everybody and welcome to my 9th Advanced Excel tutorial. This tutorial is going to teach you how to use R1C1 referencing. So R1C1 referencing is just a different way of writing your references to cells or ranges, and it's quite useful. I'll show you how to turn it on. So it's within the options in Excel. You get to Tools, Options, and then you'll need to select General from the top here. You'll normally be on View to start off with. Click on General, and then R1C1 Reference Style, and then this is going to, as you probably noticed, change the column letters to numbers. So instead of referencing letters, you're going to reference numbers all the time. So this is quite useful sometimes. I use it occasionally for when I'm writing VBA to code something, because you can writing in numbers is a lot easier than writing in letters, because you can manipulate numbers a lot easier. So that's the main benefit for me. If anyone else knows of any benefits for it other than that, then please write them in the comments. Um, but let's get started. So equals, and you always reference going R, which is the row 1. So row 1. So at the moment this is highlighting row 1 because we're selecting row 1. And then you put the column, so C1, enter. And then this is now referencing row 1, column 1. So if we put 1 in, it goes to 1. If we put 2 in, it goes to 2, etc. and so on. And then similarly, so if we put row 2, column 1, it's going to reference this one down here. And if you put row 2, column 20, it's going to reference some cell over here. So that is how you reference cells, but you're not really going to want to reference them like this, because you generally want to use relative referencing rather than absolute referencing like this is. So let's say we drag this formula down, you notice that all of them are still going to reference R2C20, which we don't want it to do. Quite often we want it to reference a cell in relation to the cell we're in. So let's say we want to fill that series down there, and we want this cell to reference that cell, but then when we drag the formula down, we want it to be relative, so it will go into the cell next to it. So we're going to put equals row, and we want to put the current row. So we want it to be the same row that we're in at the moment. So we won't put a number in, we'll just put it as R, and then C1, enter. And then when we drop this formula down, you'll notice that it's referencing its own row. So that's really useful. That's how you do your absolute referencing. Similarly, at the moment, when you copy across, because the C is still set to always do 1, it's always going to carry on doing column 1. So that's quite clear. I think it's more clear than using the dollar signs in the normal referencing. So say we wanted it to also change the column. So we want it to reference the column to the left of it. So we're going to delete this. We can't just leave it as C this time because we want to reference the column to the left. So you put square brackets, and then this signifies that you want to offset where you're looking. So we're going to want to offset by -1 columns. If we put a positive number, then it would reference this direction, but because we put -1 in, it's referenced 1 column to the left. And if we enter that in and then copy it across, it's still actually referencing it, the same numbers, but it's actually referencing that one, which is referencing that, which is referencing that one. So if we put a simple little +1 on the end, copy that down, copy that across, and then you'll notice that it's going, okay, I need to look in this row, but I need to look in the column to the left of me, and then I'm going to add 1 on. And then that's added through all fine. And then similarly, you can put R bracket -1 close bracket, enter. and then this, so it didn't like doing that, and that's because it's actually gone for referencing to the bottom of the sheet, so don't use -1 to go off the sheet because it will go right down to the bottom. So we'll put all that down, copy all that across, and then notice, say this is going, okay, I want to take 1 down and 1 left. So it's going down 1 and left and then adding 1. This one's going down 1, left and adding 1. And then this one's going down 1, left. So that is how you do your referencing. So let's say we want to reference a range. So let's say we want to put sums at the bottom here. So equals sum, open bracket. And then, so as you've seen already, you can just put R and that'll put a whole row. Or you can just put C and that'll put a whole column. Or you can, to do a range, so let's put R1C1. And we actually want to be able to drag it across, so we want to put it in the column and R minus 15 close bracket, and then we want to go to R minus 1 C. So similarly as normal referencing, so you normally put, say, A1 to A15, you're just putting the reference of the first cell, the reference of the last cell, and then it just has all the ones in between. And then close bracket, enter, and then that's summed it up for us. And we can copy that across, and because we've done it using the relative referencing like this, then it's happy to just copy it across how we want it. And you'll notice now that then these ones are selecting the totals, and then we start getting some quite big numbers quite quickly. So let's keep dragging that across, and then it gets smaller again, which is interesting. And it's because these ones it's just dragged as numbers. So that's it for R1C1 referencing. If you've got any questions about it, because I know it can be quite confusing, then drop them in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel because I'll be releasing quite a few videos over the coming few weeks. So thanks for listening, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.